Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. This is Stan. I'm Alex. We're two of the co-founders of the French NoCode community. We're very sorry we didn't get the memo about the black turtleneck, so we have a very simple outfit.
It's okay. It's
okay. So yeah, we're here to tell you the story of the French NoCode community.
Yeah, before to start, do there is any developers in our audience? Okay, some few. Okay, maybe you come today to see and to answer a big question, maybe that you've got in mind. Is NoCode the end of developers? And of course, and maybe you know it, no, it's not the end of developers. And it's Oh, Alex, hi, I hope you are good. Alex, can you tell us a bit more about the community and how all of this started?
So yeah, let's talk about the community. It's quite an interesting story. We've divided it in 4 acts. And first of all, I would like to introduce you to some of the characters of that story, if we can. So here you have a few of our quite diverse community. You have Carol here on the left. Carol is a psychologist. She's specialized in HR. She has no technical background whatsoever, but she's very interested in no-code tools. She uses them to do what she calls tentage de trucs. She tries to do a lot of things with no-code tools. She's one of the most active members of our community.
Yeah, you can also see Amandine. Maybe you know a bit of the story because she's done a talk just before us. And Amandine, she studied design at the beginning. Now she's a queen, a goddess in Make and Airtable. And she's also the head of the community of a big online bubble training which called Auto. And so she didn't have any expertise on code, but she's doing a lot of stuff without coding.
She didn't know she was going to be here.
Yeah.
Below Carol, you have Lilian. Lilian didn't really do any studies. He has no degree. He did just small jobs, worked in sales. He was even a drop shipper for sex toys. But then he found Airtable and Make, and he became very passionate about those tools. Over a few months of hard work and answering all the questions on the Slack, he became one of the most respected experts in the community.
You also have Julien, which is kind of our Batman. Like during day, he's working as an electrical engineer, and at night, he's doing a big curation about no-code. He loves design, and he's doing a lot in no-code.
Amandine just arrived. She missed the...
Amandine, you missed your talk.
Sorry, we're not going to do it again.
Yeah. It's quite a diverse community, but at the beginning, it was only you and Erwan who launched the Slack.
Yeah, so it all started back in 2015 when I met Erwan Kezar, who co-founded a company called Simplon.co. Maybe some of you might know it. It's a coding bootcamp. So before no-code, we were doing code, actually. And I joined the company in 2015. He already showed me some of the no-code tools, actually, back then. But I'm a programmer originally, so I didn't care so much. I have to say, he showed me Bubble back in 2015. Honestly, I said, I don't care about that. But then, so we left the company a few years later, and in 2019, we met again, and we looked again at those tools. Bubble, Webflow, he introduced me to Airtable, and all those tools became very mature, very interesting. They raised a lot of money. It was really buzzing in the US, but we felt that no one was really talking about that in France in 2019. So we figured, okay, let's start a company and try to be the first to do a bootcamp about no-code tools. So it's a company called Contournement, which means bypass in English. And yes, that was it. What about you? What were you doing back in 2019?
In 2019, I was just finishing graduating journalism. I was playing with Glide, which is really an amazing tool. Go shout out to Glide. I've done some little apps. I was kind of a Padawan in no-code. So it was really the beginning of my journey in no-code. And I think that you invite me at this time on the Slack, like around December 2019. How was it at this time? How did you kickstart the stuff?
So basically, we wanted to make a 9-week bootcamp, but no one knew about no-code in 2019. So we had to organize workshops, meetups, a lot of things to get people excited, to introduce people to no-code tools. So this is one of our meetup. I took a photo where there's a lot of people. Sometimes we would do workshop, only 1 or 2 people would show up. That was really tough, honestly, when we started. And so we also created a Slack. It was the Slack of Contournement of our company. And all the people we met during those events, we would bring them to the Slack. And also I went on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Malt, everywhere to see anyone who was speaking about no-code in French. I would invite them on the Slack pretty much.
You know, I'm kind of only interested about numbers. Today I have to tell you how many people were on the Slack.
So we started the Slack in summer of 2029. At the end of February 2020, there was 148 people. which is, I think, pretty much what's in this room. So it's quite impressive, but it's not that much when you think online, especially considering that only a fraction of those people are active.
Yeah, this is after 6 months of work. Were you happy at this time?
Hard work.
Yeah, hard work. Were you happy at this time?
Well, honestly, that's when I realized that it was going to be much more difficult than I expected. Because we thought, okay, no one is talking about no-code in France. We'll be the first one. Everyone's going to be excited. All those tools are amazing. But then, yeah, we knew it was going to be a long path.
Regarding to the number, I will maybe dropped. Why did you continue to grow the community?
Well, it's true. It was mostly me speaking alone on the Slack. I was doing the questions, the answer. I just kept going. But something happened. I didn't have time to think, okay, am I going to quit? Because in March 2020, you all remember that the pandemic struck. And all of a sudden, we were all stuck at home because of the lockdown. All our business vanished all of a sudden. We were only doing, as I've said, in real life events. And so we couldn't organize everything. So we had a few dreadful days, but we felt, okay, this is an opportunity really, because everyone is stuck at home. Like you probably remember that. I don't want to bring back all those bad memories. But also it was an opportunity. Maybe some of you thought, okay, this is the chance to learn new things. So we figured, okay, let's try to just create a lot of content. So we did a lot of webinars, a lot of streams. We did a lot of online events. We're at home, sometimes as much as 3 per week. Erwan knows by heart his introduction to no-code webinar. He did it so many times, hundreds of times. I invited some experts. We did demos of Glide. But then this time, a lot of people were showing up, actually, because people were stuck at home. So this worked a lot better. So again, I would invite them on the Slack, and there was much more discussion all of a sudden.
I think that the inflection point was at this time of the...
Yeah, because I always forget this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the inflection point. So the mask is during the lockdown.
Yes, you can see March 2020, it started skyrocketing, and it never stopped since then.
And okay, what's the number again? What is the factual number?
So 6 months later, at the end of August 2020, this time we're almost close to 800. So we multiplied by 4, pretty much, the audience of the Slack.
Yeah, it was nice. So everything is done. End of the story. Like the community was on fire. Rocket launch. That's it.
Well, that would be the end of the story, right? No, it's not, because of course we saw there was a lot of potential, a lot of active users. But remember, we're showing you nice numbers. It's a bit of a vanity metric, we know. Only a fraction of that number are active people. There were more of them, but they were not that involved. They were not promoters of the Slack. They were not being ambassadors, really. There was discussion, but we didn't know if we were going to keep growing. And our ambition was, we felt that, okay, we have the potential to be the main major French no-code community, but are we going to keep growing? And also, last thing, because of the influx of people, was a lot more moderation work. And at that time, I was still the only one being the admin of the Slack. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle it.
And what did you do at this time to be able to keep growing the community, to also, because it's complicated sometimes when you have a lot of people, handle the growth of the community?
So I felt like we needed to reinvent the community, because my hypothesis was that the active members wouldn't be really promoters, because it was still a Slack of contournement. It was still a Slack of a company. So it was our community, but if you want, some of the people on that community was also competitors, even if it's like friendly competition. We're all friends in the no-code community, but like they wouldn't give energy to our company. Of course, that would make sense. So I made the hypothesis that we needed to rebrand, and I needed to share the ownership of the Slack. So I decided to go towards the 10 most active people and influent people and ask them if they wanted to come join me and share the ownership, and also to rebrand. And that's when we decided to call NoCode France, and that's when...
Yeah, when we met and when we keep growing like a group of 12 people of the community. And it was really interesting because I totally remember the day when you sent me a message to, hey, do you want to be part of the admin groups? And like when you see something like really huge as NoCode, like starting and growing, it was really impactful and interesting to be part of this. And maybe some of you discovered us with something. Jérémy Foucret from The Toolbox one day made... Yeah, made a LinkedIn post, and he wasn't like on the how to write a good LinkedIn post, because he didn't say, hey, it's an amazing site. He just say, with some friends, we launched like NoCode France, and it was amazing. It was like 800 comments, more than 600 people coming, and maybe I think it's the day where we see that the NoCode was really amazing, and that's how NoCode France was born. This is our website. You have a QR code at the end if you want to join. It was really amazing to see all of this happening and to physically see that NoCode was interesting people and that people were joining the Slack.
What's the number?
What's the number? Yeah.
No, sorry.
It was the scale, you mistake. So how do you scale an online community, Alexis?
We did a lot of preparation, sorry.
Yeah.
So there is no secret recipe, actually, but here's a few things that we learned along the way. The first thing is the onboarding. It's very important. You have to properly onboard the people. This is one of the solutions to have less moderation. Because we saw that a lot of people who joined the Slack, especially during the pandemic, they didn't know how to use Slack. Remember, our community is very diverse in terms of background, a lot of non-technical people. So they didn't know how to use Slack. So in the onboarding, we did a video where we explain how Slack works, what are the rules of the community, how to use the thread, very important. If you're on the Slack, please use the threads. So it's important for us. All those things, and also to make them feel welcome, so they are comfortable posting their first message. So there is no like auto censor or something like that. Well, then you have active members, empower them. So you can go as far as sharing the ownership, as I did, put them admin. But even anyone that's active, give them credit, reward them, give them projects, really give them some power. And then you have a task force of very motivated people. With them, make exciting things happen. The conversation is great, but you have to do more than that. Organize debates, AMA sessions, polls, everything you can in the Slack that's going to make a bit more exciting. And last thing, very important, especially during a pandemic, during lockdown, organize synchronous events. Because Slack is nice, you put a message, you come back a few hours later, you see if there's an answer, it's not very totally synchronous. But so we did, for instance, on Tuesday, every Tuesday at 6, people gather, they meet on Zoom, or we've used several tools. And so this is how we created a tighter bond, because then you see the people, you hear their voice. We all missed a bit of social contact, so it was the best we could do. And this worked really well for us.
Yeah, totally. And I think that maybe some didn't work so well because I think that there was some problem. NoCode was booming a lot and it was increase of NoCode. And because people and the community was sometimes side project for people, it was really people overwhelmed by work because there was NoCode booming, the community booming, and work booming. And because I love numbers, of course, we went to a beautiful numbers, kind of the starting 2,500 people on the Slack 1 year after. It was really interesting to have that much people on the Slack active. And I forget it's a vanity metrics, but it's a good numbers.
At the end of 2020, 2,500 people, so it's quite a lot. But this is just the beginning of all the fun. Can you tell us about what happened in 2021, please?
I have to go speed because it just took me 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
I saw 1 minute, so I was like, oh. But okay. Yeah, it was a really amazing year. I'm going to speak about something I really loved. We tried to bet something to be the first web TV on Twitch. Okay, so do you know Twitch a little bit? Yeah, no? Okay, some people know. Okay, so Twitch is usually for gamers, and we say, okay, we want to go with a channel and do some no-code stuff on it. We started at 1 people, and now we are more than 30 streaming. We started with 1 show per week, and now we have at least 1 show per day. And we have a lot of stuff. I've done 24 hours on Twitch last weekend. We have some demo show, we have some talk show, we have some demo from publisher, we have XR, we have some live no codings, Amandine, Learning Bubble. So it was really a bet, and now it's really amazing. We just passed 2K followers, so it was really an amazing stuff. But we also did IRL meetups.
I just realized there's a lot of Amandine on our slide, because this is June 2021. Finally, we were allowed to organize public events. So this is the first NoCode hackathon organized by the organization NoCode for Good. And it was a beautiful moment. It was in Nantes, in La Cantine. It was the first time that the NoCode community was finally able to meet in the real life. So this was, again, a next step in terms of creating tighter bonds and organizing things.
Yeah, and because our community is francophone, so in the world, we also have a virtual office and virtual place. It's a gather town. It's called NoCodeville, which is a city. You can see there is several companies, Contournement, Auto, Thinkso, the Toolbox, and we also have a coffee where people can come and can join. It's the way to meet people who are not close to us. It was really interesting to have this kind of stuff to be able to meet our community.
The numbers, we need to speed up.
Yeah, the numbers, okay, we need to speed up totally. 5,000, big numbers, x2, x2. And the talk was really amazing. And then it went to maybe something we needed, maybe structure.
Yeah, during 2021, so we had all this growth, we're very happy, but we felt like, okay, maybe if we want to go further, we need to have some structure. So we decided to create a non-profit. That would be the legal entity behind the community. So this is the Association NoCode France that was created. We decided to go for something a bit different than the usual president, treasurer. We wanted to have something very flat, very non-hierarchical. And so that's really how we created it. We went, this time I didn't go to specific people to ask them if they wanted to create it with us. We asked all of the community if they wanted if there are people who are motivated enough to join in. So Stan was in, so some other people, Xavier was there also responded. And so we created a process, some questions, some videos, and then finally there were 10 people join us. So again, 12 people, it's a bit of our magic number, who are the founding members of the nonprofit. And also for organizing really actions, to organize events, webinars, we have guilds. So it's also our structure, 6 guilds, organizing a lot of things. Tell us about that very quickly.
Of course. We have to say there was a lot of stuff done, but we have to thank Xavier, Jocelyne, and Benjamin who do like a podcast about members of the community. It's called Les Portraits du No-Code. You can go and stream it on every platform. And it's each week you can discover one people from our community. Maybe you remember our Batman, Julien, from the first slide. He's a crazy guy, and he's spending 5 to 10 hours per week, not 10 days, to do one of the most amazing curation of content. Each week on Friday at 12, he's posting 50 to 80 links about all the news in the community and also in the no-code ecosystem. It's really amazing stuff. And of course, because I wanted to do something crazy, we've done NoCode France. It was the 2 years of NoCode France, so we like to do crazy stuff. We organize one party in 5 cities, the same night, the same hour. So you can see here Quimper, Lyon, Marseille, Nantes, and of course Paris. And maybe it was one of the times when we were that the community was really like touchable. We can speak to people, touch them, and see what the world community means. And it was really amazing to see everyone. So voilà, happy birthday, NoCode France, joyeux anniversaire. Of course, how do all of this end? And because I'm here for numbers, maybe like Madness, if you know. What is the final count?
So I just checked a few hours ago, and finally we're over 9,000. So it's just as of today. But this allows me to show you one of my very favorite memes from the internet. It's over 9,000.
I wasn't born at this time. I never watched One Piece, by the way. Maybe I used to go see it.
Thank you, everybody. This is Alex and Stan from the French NoCode community.
Yeah, you have the QR code. Join us on the Slack. You are welcome, and see you guys in the area. Sorry for the time.
Honestly, it's okay because it was an amazing talk. It was super. Thank you very much. So make sure to screenshot the QR code, at least to use it. Now we all know how to use it. Yeah. No? So and come on the Slack. I think it's super active now, and I need to be more active in it. And it's
you are welcome, Schumann.
I know. Thanks. Do we have any question for the NoCode community, NoCode France, what they presented? Nope. Yes. Shy. Yeah. One over here. So the mic is coming.
Perfect.
And I just got the joke about the turtleneck.
You know that for the instance, I got one when I arrived, but for the joke, I remove it.
Oh my God!
I love.
Yeah, me too. But he as well, and that's why I was like, that's a funny thing. So the next speaker has a turtleneck. That's what's gonna happen tonight. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this talk. It was amazing. What are the next goals for NoCode France?
It's funny because we've removed the slide of the next goal.
Oh no, I want to know. We want to know.
Thank you for the question.
You can start.
So we definitely want to keep pushing towards the shared governance model, because it's quite a challenge, of course. So we're very interested in having like this very decentralized community in terms of governance with the organization. I also dream of a European federation of NoCode communities. Unfortunately, I cannot find any really big, or just even not big, but just structured community in other countries. If you know people, please put me in touch with them. I'll be very happy to establish links.
Yeah, I think, well, it's my personal point, but I think I'm gonna try also to push the Twitch channel to be like 10,000 because I really love Twitch and I think it's an amazing kind of web TV about NoCode. And even if you want to stream on Twitch, you're welcome. Just link me, push me, etc., and we can speak about it.
And you did 24 hours. Did you slept up to that?
Yeah, and this weekend I'm going to a caritative stream also. So
24 hours?
No, not 24, more, but not continue.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I think it's going to be 36, but split.
Wow.
You can come.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, it's on twitch.tv/NoCodeFrance. Come, you will see. And if you have money to give for an association, you can also too. It's a good association.
May I ask another question?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
How can we join and how can we help if you wanna join a guild or something like this?
So first, you have to be. It's a good question again because it's a bit of a complicated, but we know it's tricky. But you have to join. You have to become a member of the non-profit of the association. I don't know exactly what's the translation of association.
NGO? No.
Yeah, non-profit.
Non-profit is good.
NPO. Join. Then you can join the guilds. That's where all the discussions happen. But if you have ideas, first just come to us. And we will reroute you. But yeah, it's all happening on the Slack mostly. If you have an idea, please feel free. Don't bother about any difficulties. Like the most important is to really express yourselves, and we'll do things happen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other question? Well, thank you very much. Thanks for this amazing talk. Give them a big round.